What's going on, everybody? It's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and we've got some weird topic to talk about today. Now, you might remember a little while back, I talked a little bit about a game that was kind of the center of big controversy at the time. It was a game by the development studio called P Cubed, and they were making what was called Omega Labyrinth Life. Now, unfortunately for some people, I say unfortunately given the situation, it was cancelled on its original PlayStation 4 and Vita release. And this was because it didn't adhere to the standards and practices set out, and basically it was the rules that they had to abide by within certain parameters of if they wanted to release a game on either of those platforms, the PS4 or the PlayStation Vita. Now, they cancelled this, and of course that's really kind of what kicked off the big whole Sony censorship thing that's been going on for the last little while now. And understandably, to a degree, many people were worried that not just this game, not just Omega Labyrinth Life, but many games might fall, if you will, prey to Sony's perceived censorship, we'll call it. And this is a valid criticism, because there are many sensitive and controversial topics out there that I believe should be included in games. They can be used to tell a story properly in the right setting and context and all. But we have a different side of the same coin. Now, it turns out that that game that we mentioned, Omega Labyrinth Life, is actually going to be released in its proper original form on the Nintendo Switch. Now, Nintendo websites and Nintendo fans and Nintendo fanboys are lauding this as the best thing ever. In fact, there's one website out there that calls it, they have a specific article about it. The game Sony tried to silence is getting an uncensored release on Switch next month. I've been working all day. I'm very tired. Excuse that. But anyway, I'll read that one more time. Nintendo fanboys are, this is a Nintendo website with Nintendo, quote, journalism, are calling this article related to this game, the game Sony tried to silence is getting an uncensored release. Why can I not say that word today? On Switch next month. Now, what's happening is this game is going to be released in two different forms. There's going to be Labyrinth Life, which is going to release on the PlayStation 4, and it is a toned down and censored version of the game. And there's going to be the original version, Omega Labyrinth Life, which is going to release on the Switch. Now, I'm going to go out and say one thing right before we get into the nitty-gritty details of this whole situation, right? Sony were right. Now, many people are just going to straight away say, oh, that's because you hate Nintendo, Q, in which case they would be completely wrong. They just haven't been paying attention. But my point is that in this case, Sony were 100% right to do what they did to deny them the ability to publish this game and release this game on their systems in its previous and original incarnation, which is the same one that the Switch will be getting. Let me tell you why. Now, I mentioned before that there's many topics out there that can be presented properly and used properly and whatnot, that may be controversial topics that can be used correctly, in the correct way, the correct context, the correct story, setting, etc. Let me give you a couple examples of this. Violence can be used properly. You have let's say, drug use can be used properly. In fact, there's even a few games out there that have some questionable things, like, say, emotional abuse, child abuse, stuff like that. It can be used in an acceptable way. But you know what can't be used in an acceptable way and 100% deserves to be censored, banned, and removed from every single game in existence? The sexualization, over-sexualization, and hyper-sexualization of underage characters. That's right. This game Omega Labyrinth Life, which Sony rightfully denied from their platform. The reason why this game was denied is because of the over-sexualization of underage, specifically underage female girls. Now, don't get me wrong. Naturally, as a European, my, let's call it, freewheeling sensibilities are much more lax than you uptight Americans out there. And I'm all about my sexuality. You give me those hot, sexy girls. You give me the scantily clad, big-titted girls. The ones with the booty like pow. Hypersexualization for the win. As long as those characters are not kids. Are not teenagers. Are not underage. That's right, young underage girls are being over-hyperly sexualized. In fact, The whole premise and principle of this game is the more Omega power, which is basically experience, you accumulate from all your dungeon crawling and whatnot, the girls' tits get bigger and bigger and bigger. Remember, underage girls. You can squeeze and rub item drops that you find in dungeons from enemies between the character's tits for stat boosts and item boosts. Remember, hyper, over-sexualized, underage girls. Sony were 100% right to censor this game and deny it from their system. In fact, let me say this out there as well, just because I want to get it out there officially from just my point of view. Anyone who enjoys this type of content, anyone who enjoys this type of game because of this, you people fucking disgust me. And I'm not talking about, Switch gamers, they disgust me because they're fake gamers, because they've got such low standards that they'll just let Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, whoever, shovel shit into their mouth and they'll say, please daddy, give me $20 a year more. No. I'm talking about worse than that. These people that would enjoy this kind of thing. You're dregs of the world. You are lower than the lowest scum. You deserve to be thrown in jail and beaten. There's a reason why in jails and prisons, the places that are full of absolute shithole shitheads, the worst of the worst, there's a reason that in there, people like you, people who enjoy this kind of underage shit, there's a reason why you're considered scum, even by that scum. So feel free to go back to your Nintendo fanboys, your Nintendo websites, your Nintendo forums, and praise this. Praise Nintendo and their no censorship, blah blah blah. Read some fucking details on it. You're defending the wrong fucking thing. There's 2 L's in Omega Labyrinth Life, and you can fucking hold both of them.